him. Who the fuck else? Ay, ay, ay. Come on, man. Squats. What a view, huh? Shoulders. What a fucking view. Back. What a fucking view. Neck. You know me. Legs. Always coming through. In other news, pulling big bazookas out the bubble goose. Hunting for the truth. Rub something to numb up my tooth. Then wrap the rope around my waist and jump from the roof as it explodes into a pile of rubble and doom. Man, how you trying to be a thug in front of the moon? Come on, man. And why you trying to pull the rug from up under the goon? Come on, man. I'm backstage doing nunchucks. Straight from Queens, Baklava, baby, one love. Don't try to hit me with the
I started
fist
following
bump,
the
dog.
page Accidental
I don't
Bronson.
fuck with chipmunks.
So they just, it's just people making tweets. And some people I think do it on purpose, but there's some people who just say tweets and it sound like what would be like an Action Bronson bar. It's my favorite, one of my favorite pages.
It may seem kind of random, but like thinking of that concept. You have Action Bronson, right? You compare those.
Mm-hmm.
What about like riff-raff quotes?
That could work.
I feel like they would be the same. But, of course, I feel like, you know, Action Bronson's would be a little bit more deep or whatever the case is.
Mm.
But they're both random, throwing random shit together that actually kind of works a little bit.
That's a valid point. I think it's definitely just like presentation. I've had a good music week, man. Like Bronson dropped, fucking Big Sean dropped, Tyrese up here singing about how his divorce is just fucking kicking him in the nuts.
I mean, at least he's honest.
I can't. I've watched a few of the interviews and shit, and I saw something the other day, and I was just like, man, like, I don't give a fuck how, you know, how rich this nigga is. That shit sucks. Sheesh.
I mean, the more rich you are, it has to suck because you giving up more the more you got.
Yeah.
Especially if I got to give up more in a situation where I didn't cause it and I still got to take the L.
You know what's crazy? Like so far I haven't listened to the whole thing. So far it's like a good album. Like he was trying to get everything he said he was trying to do, he did. Like, you know, I'm trying to get that old school sound and this and that. And I was like, yeah, okay, well fuck it. It just sucks that this is up, you know, off the backs of what probably is a fucking just shit situation.
I mean, Mary made a career out of it.
I had a conversation about that. Like, oh, hi everybody. I feel like we haven't been here in a while. Niggas got life.
Yeah, life was lifing, as the Ute say.
Yeah, but it was because I used the fucking Mary J. Blige song the other day because just Ben Affleck got freed. And I was like, that's how I look at it.
Again.
Yeah, I look at it as Ben got freed. I also look at it as like, you know, all this shit is a journey because I don't know. I'm not gonna hold you. I didn't do no research. I don't know the ins and outs of the Benifer, whatever it is. I just know that like all of us as a unit, like generationally, have had enough discourse about like fuck man, like, you know. I love my black woman, but any nigga alive that ain't had like a J-Lo thought or conversation, so like that's not up for debate. But at some point I'm like, now I'm like, okay man, like I don't know, do we do some type of like just half a look at like maybe what the fuck is going on over there? I don't know if Ben's a fucking like terrorist, but like what the fuck, man?
I think we've had enough conversations about J-Lo over these decades because we've been talking about her since what, for me, middle school, high school for sure, but she was on the scene in middle school because in Living Color and all that, really elementary school. But you know, Selena is middle school for me. So since middle school, people have been having this conversation about J-Lo. And as it's progressed over the years, especially through the later end of the 90s and the 2000s, they weren't necessarily good conversations.
Man,
you mean like she looks fantastic, she's aging well, the body is still body, and this, that, and the other, blah, blah. But when we talk about the relationship stuff, we talk about messed up attitudes and diva this, and she's like the Latina Kardashian.
Shit, nigga, waiting for tonight to be over. Goddamn it.
Well, that's pretty much what
Shit.
all her husband. What is this, number 4?
Something like that. Like I like, and I'm here's my like complete judgment scale. One, I saw it was what the fuck is that page? Too Cool to Blog. I love that fucking page. They posted, like, I guess she put a tweet out, and I just got in my mind, and this is probably might not be the best, but in my mind, as soon as it starts, y'all start posting like the Live, Laugh, Love. It was just like she posted all of it together. It was like a Live, Laugh, Love quote, a little mirror with the booty shot in the back, and then you know, some aesthetically pleasing, like, and I'm like, you're too rich to be playing this, to be pulling from this playbook. Come on, man. What the fuck? Like,
Rich
this shit is corny as fuck, dog.
She's 50. Man.
Yeah, come on, nigga. That shit whack. Why the fuck don't y'all ever tell y'all people they corny? Niggas be trying to tell the corny niggas they corny. As much as I just said about Tyrese, I've said, like, talked about moments where I thought Tyrese was being corny, even though, you know, some of the moments I gotta might be take back because some of them, like he's saying, is mental health, and I gotta take that seriously. But why don't y'all ever say that shit corny, nigga? That shit crazy. Man. And I think niggas, y'all got to speak up too. Because here's, like, I've been on a really big kick about, like, self-abandonment and, like, just reading up on shit like that. And I just feel like, man, y'all got to really figure out, like, the moments where y'all do that. Because you do this shit she said was corny. Like, ass got to stop being that powerful.
Well, here I feel like the consensus to a degree. We can say, as men, we can say shit is corny because we have the ability to understand what corny is because we're not trying to be corny. I feel like a lot of lady folk don't point out when other women say some corny shit because they are in agreement with the corny shit. So they end up enabling it. Like you're on the same level as the corniness, so you don't even give it the ability to be challenged.
But that'd be my judgment. Because I'm, as I ascend in these age years, into my you know,
Upper unctum.
Yeah, man. I like unctum. Unctum is giving me a lot more enlightenment because I realize now, like, you know, the more that I'm really, really like into this phase of, like, when I look at these relationship shits, I just find all my usual like rant about all this shit is like superficial horse shit. Mm-hmm. And like, if I'm looking at my partner, right? And your partner, you know, you want your partner to be like one of your best friends. Like you want to be able to kick it with this motherfucker. Like, once my dick unhard, once the pussy unwet,
flaccid.
We just chilling. You know, naked or not naked, you just like hanging out. You want to be able to like enjoy this motherfucker's presence. I'm not knocking romance, but romance is not a sustainable. Like, you don't live in that space. Yeah. You live in like a hangout space. And at this current juncture, ma'am, sir, they, them, whatever, you hate hanging out with a corny motherfucker, man. Like, I just, like that's been my thought for, like, the past 6 months. Like, if I think this motherfucker corny, like, when y'all do corny shit, I'm like, that shit is detrimental, man.
I feel like it's even, like you said, you kind of dwell in the realm of hangout. This may just be my bias, but I feel like you dwell in the realm of problem solving. And there's nothing worse than like an actual problem needing to be solved and somebody comes romanticizing the answer, which to me is corny as fuck. It's like, no, we have, like, if you think about it, this is my best friend, this is my partner or one of my partners or whatever the case is. If we have a household that we manage together or a family we manage together, like, what are we going to eat as a family? What are we going to eat as an individual? What does your schedule look like? Like, there's always problems that need to be solved. They're not real problems, but it's a lot of collaboration. You know, we can kick it and hang out together, but when we're living life together, we have to problem solve on a regular basis. Small problems, big problems, actual problems, or just communication issues to make sure that we have the same amount of clarity. But there's stuff that needs to be parsed through on a regular basis. And if your answer to everything is some romanticized fairy tale version of things, how do we actually get shit done?
You don't get shit, nigga. You get stressed and your heart blow up, but you get the big piece of chicken.
And some head.
Shit, and the way I don't know. I look at this point, man. I'm believing all the stereotypes. I'm believing everything y'all post talk about, and I'm moving accordingly. I'm in preparation. I got my sword out. You know, because y'all make terrible shit sound like, and like, you know, some shit is jokes, but yeah, like the way y'all, like, even that, like, problem solving, I'd be so sketchy about that shit, but how you explained it made sense, because y'all motherfuckers be like, come hither. I saw something that we posted, word to my favorite activity of, like, going in the archives of shit, and it was a conversation we had at least 2 years ago about, like, how y'all are, like, have, like, the worst PR team. Like, come hither into my life, and, like, here is my shit. Please, by all means, pick up my shit. Be happy to pick up my shit and wear it on your back as a. I'm like, hey man, like, shit, man, Sisyphus got a better motherfucking deal than well, y'all be fucking posting and, like, you know, producing, just promoting, like, be with me in a relationship. It's like, well, for what, motherfucker? Because, like, this shit sounds terrible. I didn't come here telling you to fix shit. I just said be cool for a minute, motherfucker. Like, I got some shit going on. You got some stuff going on. We have some positive. Let's reinforce those positives. Let's grow those. Where you need me, I'll plug in. Where I need you, you can plug in. That sound way better than, hey, in order to fucking be in my presence, you would have to cover up these things here. And also this and this and this. And it's like, hey, man, you done added fucking 40 pounds to my bar, nigga. I asked you, did you need a spot? This is a very fucked up dynamic right now.
Very one-sided. But I think that's what bugs me the most about the romanticized perspective, is because we don't look at it from a healthy standpoint of, like, that is super one-sided. I'm expecting you to come in and your role and your purpose is to make my life easier, and that's what you're supposed to do as a good man. So it's like, wait a minute. I've thought this thought and said it many times. It's like, I didn't work my ass off to make my life easier for you.
Man.
I work my ass off to make sure that I can contribute to making my life easier with those that I choose to do life with, but that's a collaboration.
Look, the way I just, like, the way the motherfuckers a couple weeks ago mailed me that degree, and the way I had to look on fucking line, and they said, hey, man, here's how this shit go for the fucking law and ethics exam. Like, my school was, you know, so I got to take a whole, like, exam for it. Yeah, the way you not finna come in my life and tell me, like, what I'm the hardest working nigga in showbiz. Like, fuck off. Like, look, we gonna come in this motherfucker and team up, or fuck that. That's crazy.
I've had that conversation. I think we've had it on here, but I've definitely had it in my personal life many times. Of, like, for us, for sure, we've had the conversation here as far as men have to know their worth better. But it's like, in the dating or courting phase, some people like the attention of the dating and courting phase. Something new, something vibrant, something exciting, something this, something that. And for me, it's like, even if it's just casual dating, we're starting off the way that you would like to end. If you would like to be in this space, if you would like to co-create a space, co-create a relationship of some sort with me long term, it's teamwork from jump. If we're not coming into this space trying to figure out how to collaborate, how to be a team, what are we talking about? And especially for my monogamous minded individuals out there, you know, all the mononormative individuals. If you're like, this one person that I'm going to invest my time in, I want to invest time into them for the hopes of them becoming my spouse. How do we, like, we're going to bypass dating for a year, 2 years? Well, for you guys, it's 30 days, because you should know if you love me after a month. So
I saw something like that. It was like, it put the whole, like, it was like 4 years or 5 years, whatever. And I just thought about that as far as, like, you know, your undergrad or whatever. Like, you know, I know they block these things up, but I was like, it took you 4 years to get basic understanding of a subject. You know what I'm saying? You put an extra 2 on it to get really.
You still can't get hired.
Yeah, you put an extra 2 on it with this master shit. So that's 6 full years. And then if you were in some type of doctorate, you could be anywhere from 4 to 6 years. So just to master, have some level of mastery over a certain subject. And then I'll say it from, like, my perspective as a new novice, like, official therapist, like, dog, I'm like I got, like, over a decade or whatever in the mental health space. You know, I got now 6 years of fucking, you know, like, schooling.
Right.
And I'm still like learning a thing. And I'm not saying nobody needs to fucking take 20 years to fuck, but I just feel like certain mindsets like that is just like, come on, man, shut the fuck up.
Yeah, I'm expecting you to have me, a new individual in your life, mastered in a time frame that I deem acceptable. That's one-sided. That's you coming into the situation expecting this person's life, purpose, being, existence to conform around your preferences because you're worth more than them.
I don't think it speaks also to like judging the quality of experiences. Like it's a lot of, quantity. Like you've done this amount of time. Y'all clearly have had to have this level of experiences. And that's not necessarily true. Like you want it to be true. That would be cool if you could just, we're super open. We're super understanding. We've figured out how to fucking, get our communication shit together. So these couple years we've been firing off like a motherfucker. But come on, man. Like if that shit was lit, I'd be out of a fucking career. So I'm not saying, so I just feel like motherfuckers got to at least fucking think and approach shit in a way that fucking makes, I don't know, man, a bit more sense. I thought about that shit, watching that shit everybody was so viral about with Cam and fucking Nick. God damn, them niggas dumb, bro. Like, you know what that did? Because I think, because part of my shit, one of my main gripes is like, as much as you get up here and fucking, like for the past, I don't know, fucking 10 minutes, like, basically it was like, you women do relationships stupid. But part of it is like, niggas have to figure out how to like sort through their stuff so that you can present well and because even some of the shit that they were saying as like multimillionaires, it still spoke of like shit that the regular nigga says, like you can't be your honest, authentic self. And this is not telling y'all like, honestly, I'm finna fuck these hoes. That ain't what I'm talking about, bro. Like niggas don't present their honest true self as a fear that it'll get shunned. You present as whatever the fuck you need to be, this bravado mask type shit. And that's the shit that ends up kicking you in the ass 3-4 years later, because that shit wasn't really built on anything substantial. Y'all not connected or...
Not at all. I mean, but we're also the community that will, and myself included at one point in time in my life, and there's a spectrum to it, there's varying degrees, but we will celebrate the ability to be a chameleon. Mm-hmm. I can blend in and maneuver and be accepted in whatever environment that I go to.
That's my motherfucking bag, man.
It's like that's great and all, but like you can't say that that's something that I'm good at or that's a strength on one end, and on the other end say I don't have a space where I can be my true authentic self. We're not allowed to be that. Well, did you try, or did you focus on trying to fit in with everybody else, which to me is an insecurity issue. Mm-hmm. I'm seeking validation for other people based on what their expectations are, which means I am invalidating myself. I'm ignoring myself. I'm sacrificing who I actually am for the acceptance and intention of others, which is not what you should be doing. So, yeah, is being a chameleon really helpful for me? Or should I say, you know what, bitch, the background is black and I'm white than a motherfucker, and you going to see me for who I am, and it is what it is. Like, which choice did you make? Which version of you decided that they wanted to use this skill for a positive and or a negative?
Yeah, I would like niggas to get in that bag more and not just use it as like niggas, nigga drop that bar when it says it is what it is, but by that time, it just talks about you like, fucking on people, and it's not like this is what it is. I don't know, nigga, like some of my favorite shit to post online. I follow like 3 or 4 interior decorating pages. I love a good fucking decor. I like it black, I like it dark. And it's like, a nigga would like there's niggas still hung up on shit like that. Like, well, this motherfucker is not finna be like cool with you. And like, I understand. And I remember like, I guess starting that shit in college helped. So I guess, hey man, there's a positive side to hoeing, because for me, I think the birth of that thought process was like, I'm seeing everybody in a relationship shit, and I'm not fully understanding like the bag of like what this is like given. Like I didn't really hit that stride. It just seemed like everybody was stressed. In college, in my mind was like, we get out here and have fun. So, I definitely like, what's that shit? Like you lose out on far more than you by being truthful. But I feel like turning that into like a thing for like my lifestyle and like emotions like helped, because it was like, oh, okay, I don't want to. What's that shit? We also like, you don't want to like sell some game. Like I didn't want to lie and be like, I love you to death, and like you will, because if you wanted to talk to fucking 7 women, you could tell a good lie and bag about 5, 6. Right. if you want those same 7 and you want to tell the truth, you got to talk to fucking 30 motherfuckers. And I feel like, you got to start. I feel like, you could start at like, I just want to have sex. And then it's on you, my boy, though, to kind of progress that into like, okay, man, like, had a good amount of sex. Sex is still cool. I'm not tired of it. I don't know none of y'all. When y'all say that, I respect it, but like, I'm not tired of it. But it's very cool. I'm a big fan. But that turning into like, you get mature, you have a little more introspection of like, hey, like, I'm not opposed to this concept. I'm not understanding why I'm taking this job though. Like, you need to do okay, but like, okay, if I'm this and I'm that and I'm this and I'm that, and you said that, well then why I'm fucking with you? Because I'm that bitch. I'm not gonna hold you, man. I got a few requirements like for this job. Tell me what that bitch is to make sure those things align. Because
I think that's so kind of going back to the corny part. We for sure have to start telling like women like, and that's a corny statement because every woman is saying she's that bitch, and in some capacity she's right, and in some capacity she's wrong. But I can also say the same thing about myself. There's a lot of different spaces and situations where I'm that nigga, and then there's other situations where I'm still trying to figure it out. So if you come to me and say you should treat me a certain way because I'm special, I'm not like all the other girls. Well, duh, me too. I'm not like all the other men because we're all individuals. Like, we're connected. We have similar experiences, but we perceive things different. You're a different individual than I. So yes, you're special, and so am I. We're back on the even playing field. So what does being that bitch, or what does being special, or what does being whatever, majestic, flowing with effervescent titty milk, as you say, like, what does that actually mean? What characteristics does that entail? And not just what characteristics does that entail, how is that applicable to our situation specifically?
I got to put effervescent titty milk on the shirt.
As you should. Right underneath.
Yeah.
Like, just have some regular titties there and then put effervescent and then titty milk.
Shout out to the
underneath.
moms, because heaven forbid you actually like that'll fucking send the shirt out double over.
Absolutely.
But I think like some of those like empty fucking phrases, what that reminded me of is because like, that's the fucking talk of the town. It's two things. So we're headed towards this fucking Cam Newton, Nick Cannon, Dr. Bryant shit. One thing this has taught me first and foremost is I'm clearly a fucking psychopath, because when I see people talk about it, I'm like, am I the only motherfucker who watched this shit in total? Like, I know I know it took me like a couple days, but like I needed to watch the full 2 hours of the Cam shit. I needed to watch however fucking Nick spits up those cancel culture, because one, mad people was like, Nick's is worse than Cam's, and I was like, did y'all watch that shit? Because Cam started to finish. I think Cam is an amazing athlete, superstar quarterback. Really was like fucking a freak of nature out there. Hearing him on 4th and 1 talk about football is amazing. It's always good to get some insight. But I ain't seen nobody get their ass whooped for 2 straight hours. I watch fantasy fucking television. I watch elves and orcs and fucking Power Rangers and shit, and it's anime on right now. I am a One Piece. A One Piece will stretch an episode. A one fight will when Luffy and Kid and Law was up there fighting Big Mom. That shit lasted 12 episodes. And that shit was shorter and a less ass whooping than the way this woman dog walked. There was some crazy shit. And I'm not saying she dog walked him because she was like mean or rude. It was just crazy watching somebody like completely miss the point. Like, but what I did like is like everybody up here talking about mental health therapy and shit. That is what a session can look like. Like, just somebody completely pushing back. And I would say that if you've watched both things, if I had to pick a client, I'm picking Nick Cannon 10 out of 10. If I just had to pick a client out of a hat and go like, I want to ease, like, because push back towards what you're saying as a clinician, like, perfectly fine. I'm finna say it's not finna sound good, great. I'm finna kick you in the balls probably a couple times. But Nick's was like, I don't like that. Lash out. She did her active listening. She was really calm. And then, like, he kind of spun around. That nigga Cam was in opposition the entire fucking episode. And it was just some crazy shit to watch. Because, like, the same way you were saying, you just said something about it. And you were like, And it just sounded like some of that foofy shit that people say, like saying the one-liners. And it was just crazy watching him say some shit. And I was like, that's not a point, though. Like, that's just some shit to say. Like, sometimes when the birds fly. And I'm like, nigga, what the fuck does that have to do with the point of what she was saying? And just, like, watching him try to coordinate. It was so weird sometimes watching him trying to, like, corral her into, like, an argument, like, with a weird question. And she would answer the question. And she was like, that's what you said. Like, and it's like, I don't know, it was crazy to watch. At one point, I'm not gonna lie, the funniest part of the fucking shit was this woman's a full-fledged doctor. Like, it's not like kind of a doctor, not like I'm a doctor on social media. Did her time as a full-fledged 17 years as an active fucking psychologist. That nigga Cam looked that woman in the face and dead ass said, I took a sociology course back in college. I haven't laughed this hard in months. Like, that was one of the hardest, and I've replayed it. I've replayed that shit. That is one of my favorite parts. That nigga said, I took a sociology.
I have black friends. I have plenty of black friends. That was the equivalent. It's like, come on. But I think that's that ego death that we don't end up going through that makes us have these conversations, these one-dimensional, one-sided ways. Because it's easy for you, like, I could see if he prefaced it and said, I have a limited basic understanding of this. I only took one sociology class in college. Mind you, slight pivot. Sir, we know what you did in college.
Yeah, for sure.
We watched you.
Absolutely. Big fan.
And we know that it wasn't school.
Nope.
Wasn't school at all. The world took care of the school for you. Mm-hmm. Not to say you're a dummy, but they made sure you were eligible and you didn't have to really like work super hard because you knew finishing that degree was not an option of yours.
Come on, man.
So you saying I took a sociology class in college. It's like, nigga, you was in sociology class. You didn't say you passed that motherfucker. You didn't say you understood nothing. You said you took it because somebody put it on your schedule.
And I say this shit. I took a sociology course in my sophomore year, junior year, one of them years, and like just the stark difference between like taking a class and like, oh, this is cool, this is interesting, but it does not. That's just such a crazy shit to say. Like I was so baffled by that.
But I was going to say that's the ego part of us, the insecure part of us that wants to try and gain validation or appeasement from someone else, to where we don't allow ourselves to be authentic. Like if you were secure and confident within yourself from a healthy way, because I'm sure he talks plenty about being confident within himself, especially now that he's retired. But if you were confident in yourself in a healthy way, you would be able to say, you know what, I'm not fully understanding on that topic. You mind telling me more about it? I mean, you're the doctor, not me. I took a sociology class once, but that ain't going to help me understand things to the level that you have. So, like, help me better understand what you're saying. And that creates more conversation as an interviewer with you being able to be authentic and you not utilizing clickbait or inflammatory language or just your own ego to further the conversation along without looking like a cornball.
I think I had this conversation. I was actually having it with my sister because, we talked about this for a couple of days. And the thought of like, and this is not said, like I've already taken like my actual little funny pot shots, but it made me think like even watching him and even though I think Nick handled it better, like when motherfuckers think, I want a ball, I want to be a gajillionaire, but like I don't think they should ever, as a podcaster, and as much as I've said this joke, I'm now going back. I don't think they should take away the podcast equipment because as backhanded, insultish as it sounds, moments like this, sometimes you be like, okay, I've done this. I made this great accomplishment. I finished school. I'm in a good field. And it's like, God damn, nigga, like I want to me a little more ends and blah, blah, blah. But looking at it as far as like how they say they handled this situation, this is what I see motherfuckers say online or what's popular. And it's like, it made me think about, like, would you sacrifice who you are now with the experience that you've had because of said struggles and whatever to be in their position? Looks really cool, but I'm like, shit, I feel like it would be really shitty because, some of that, I know more money, more problems, but I was like, some of that shit is because of the people y'all become or who y'all are and the experiences that y'all had or didn't have enough of. And becoming rich. Like a motherfucker, like, you know, you think about Nick. I'm like, Nick is dope, but I was like, Nick's been Nick Cannon since he was like 16, 17. Like these eras that I had a lot of extreme growth in were like pivotal. If I miss those because I'm on set, is it worth being rich to not be whoever the fuck I like sitting on this couch right now?
Well, my answer, or you want society's answer?
Oh, fuck society, you're stupid.
Well, that's the answer. I think a lot of people, kind of like I've mentioned, the ego or ego death. A lot of people are going to look at someone else's circumstances, and as long as the superficial looks better than what they have, especially because social media it's a marketplace that makes you want to consume so that you can compete and compare yourself to people that don't even know you exist. Mm-hmm. But a lot of people, that's their whole platform or their whole usage of social media is to compare themselves to someone else and wish that I had their life. You don't know the circumstances. You don't know what it took to get there. You don't know if it really is the way that it's portrayed to be. You don't know none of that. You just look at your situation and then you look at theirs, and because there's more material or those pictures got filters on them that make them look more vibrant, you thinking that they're having a wonderful time. You don't know that motherfuckers is miserable after that snapshot happened. But because it looks like they're doing more than me, I'd rather be in their position. And anybody that's, in my honest opinion, anybody that's emotionally mature and emotionally healthy, mentally healthy, they can look at something like, that would be nice to have, and let me figure out how to get it my way if I really need or want it in the first place. So I'm not comparing myself to this person trying to have their life. I wouldn't switch places with them. I can just look at this and say, oh, this could be a catalyst or a motivation to me figuring out how I want this shit for myself.
That's one very good point. Two, that's another thing that pissed me off with both of these motherfucking interviews. Because one, and this is not saying like, you know, because she cooked, like just flat out shit she said was like she was firing off. But I feel like a bit of, because these motherfuckers was just fighting her so much, we like missed areas where I feel like, and I realize this is now going to just always be one of my pet peeves, is like, I think about how a good topic or a good statement will be misconstrued by goofballs, like you said, like the society. Because obviously a lot of her conversation was about like emotional intelligence. She used the term low functioning, high functioning, as far as like just, you know, the levels of fucking emotional intelligence. If you're high functioning, you're, you know, obviously like, come on, man, 2 and 2. But it was a moment where she was talking, and I was going to play the clip, but I couldn't find it because fucking Nick clips that shit in the 4 fucking episodes, and fucking psychopath. And she framed high functioning almost to a degree of like where you're so high functioning with your emotional intelligence that it kind of like masks your emotions and you're not able to deal with low functioning. But I always think of that shit like somebody's going to take this clip and, you know, maybe there's some shit I got to work through. Somebody's going to take this clip and use it as a justification to like stay level. Because I would hate to be like, you know, with somebody who's like, you know, watching that shit and it's like, well, she says, I'm like, look, you can accept and enjoy and fucking acknowledge your low functioningness and like know where you're, like, there we go. That was a bit of what it was. It kind of framed emotional intelligence as like just a regulator for your emotions, but not always like something that you go, okay, look, acknowledging that that's where you get this trigger from, but you have to go in there and like clean that shit the fuck up. Like, you don't let that shit just like run your fucking system now. It's like, well, I always wild out when you open pickles in the house because my daddy used to throw pickle jars at everybody. It's like, okay, cool. Like, I hear you, but like, that doesn't mean just because you, like, you have to work on, like, because now every time we go to the grocery store, you be swinging off on motherfuckers because they got pickles in the aisle. Like, that was my only thing that I felt like they could have expounded more. I feel like she probably would have had some shit to say, but because these niggas was tripping over their motherfucking, you know, egos, you missed out on, like, I feel like a deeper cut. Because I feel like you motherfuckers is finna take that shit and be like, well, my low functioning, and he got to match my low and high functioning. Cool, but don't sit at your low functioning. And let's discuss what high functioning is, because like I feel like I trust her, I don't trust y'all.
Do you fully understand? Not for you specifically, but for y'all, you motherfuckers listening, and the people that y'all have these conversations with. If we say high functioning and low functioning, do you really understand what that is? if we talk about emotional intelligence, do you really understand what that is? And I don't mean the TikTok definition that you got. And I don't mean no textbook. I Googled it to see what it really means. And for like, do you really understand what it means before you can even ask why? Because asking why is super important. Why should I do this way? Why should I approach it this way? Why should I see it this way? All of that. Before you even get to why, have you identified what? And if you ain't identified what and you ain't identified why, how can you apply it? It's not applicable. So what are we doing here? Because you're going to sit up here and try to apply it based on a definition that really isn't your own definition. So you're putting a practice into fallacy, putting a fallacy into practice.
Yeah.
And I think that's part of our issue within courting, dating, relationships, connections, things of that nature. We make expectation a necessity. We make our distortion or our fallacy or our perspective, like we make that a natural fact. This is how it's supposed to go. And it's like, no, this is one perspective of how it could go. But what is it that you are trying to actually make go? And why are you trying to make it go? So now we can get to the application phase.
I like the fucking why. That's one of my, that's one, I don't know, that's my main hang up with anything anybody says or whatever. Cause I'm like, I could even like, I could find some, it was something somebody posted today, and I was like, oh, hey, I didn't know that. I thought the Justin the Boy nigga had, like, fucking spontaneously combusted, but, like, I saw somebody post some shit from his, and I'm like, I could more or less probably find some humor or whatever in this, but I always think twice about, like, motherfuckers will take this line, and then it'll become something you have to, deal with later. Like, this is not a good perspective without a good amount of fucking, like, ability to kind of traverse your thoughts to make it something good. Because this shit at face value could honestly be dangerous as hell.
It's just a Drake quote.
Man. Honestly, yeah. And and for a Drake quote, man, I gotta, I see women do it, but honestly, man, you niggas, man, because that shit, niggas, motherfuckers is corny, nigga. Like,
hey, side note with that, do you think it's corny for somebody to, like, sing a line to a song? Like in mid-conversation, they're trying to explain to you why they do what they do or like what they like, or whatever the case is, and then they quote whatever type of Drake song.
I guess it depends on the context, because I know I've said something like that, like not a Drake lyric, but like I've used music or something. I've done that in session, whether it was just like to kind of get attention or to like drive a point home. But I guess it depends on the context. If this is like a serious,
I mean, somebody like they're going back to earlier, right?
Mm-hmm.
I am said super special woman, and and I asked you what makes you special, and you like, because I cook and I clean and I look pretty even when hair tied, chilling, no makeup on. What if the fucking line Drake said?
Oh yeah, that's
like they throw something like that in there.
I'm not gonna hold you. I don't know, because I be in the house regardless of what y'all see me post. Like, you motherfuckers think I'm not doing a fucking thing. So there was a time in my life where there was probably a thought in my head, well, this is not really gonna go past sex. At this point now, you say that shit to me, I'm trying to get home. Like I want it to be respectful. I don't want you to, but yeah, I want to get the fuck out of here. I like, cause now I'm having thoughts of like, okay, I don't know where this is gonna go, or I have a perceived notion of where I think this is gonna go. I'm taking cues from the ladies, man. Like as soon as that first little, I'm going with my gut. Not that red flag shit. Some of the red, like just trying to. If I do enough processing about where is this feeling coming from, do we have some decent cues about where we're getting this thought from about what the fuck is going on here? Yeah, and I'll give you a few tries. I know, like, I'm a slave to my nature. Like, I'll give you a couple chances so I can just be thorough. But, yeah, no, I don't like corny shit, especially if I'm dating you in the sense of, like, like, if I'm dating you so we can be cool, so everybody can feel, morally okay, so we can just have the sex we want to have, like, then that's different. But, like, everybody just lying to themselves. But if this is like I'm looking at you for, like, something serious, I'm looking at you like I'm like I knew the titties and ass was hidden when I fucking pulled up. Like I don't need help with that. You look good. That's how we got here. So now I want to see like who you are. I'm where to be. I'm evaluating. Are you a loser, nigga? Like are you like am I gonna have to fucking because whether he sit next to you, he might not. Don't worry about it, man. Like y'all will stay together. Y'all be fine. Just say I'm full of shit. But like you've sat through the corny shit, bro. Like you've been like, that was lame. I'm funny, huh? No, fucking like that. The friend of mine who you think is terrible, that nigga's hilarious and he's smart. You haven't laughed at one joke yet. You're not funny at all. But I can see potential in you, champ. Like,
sounded personal.
A couple times. That's been like, like I'm not saying this from like anybody who hasn't like lived through this, guys. I'm just saying like I want everybody to be better. But you sat through it, like this motherfucker's not cool.
No,
that's all. I want you to be cool. I'm just saying, like.
Well, I mean, giving them a little bit of bail.
I'm trying.
That's
not even my space. That's usually you.
That's my deal. But like, cool is going to be subjective.
Yeah.
So it's like, even if we do some self-evaluation, that's emotionally mature, right? That's good IQ. You can do self-evaluation unbiasedly and understand how to apply it, but also not let it be personalized, not make it an issue, don't project, this, any other, blah, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm.
If I can look at myself and say, my version of cool looks like this. Does this person match the level of cool that I am, or at least they have an affinity for, or like this type of cool adjacent? Like, is there some sort of bridge or correlation to the type of cool I am to their type of cool to where they can kind of get along? Mm-hmm. Or is this my version of cool is A and their version of cool is W? And shit. I'm trying to tell them that I'm cool, which within itself is corny because it was like, oh yeah, I know you like crude humor, I like dark humor. We're not completely 100% the same. So, you may want to watch an Adam Sandler movie and I want to watch whatever, I don't know, fucking Office or some shit. But it's like those aren't going to match. Slapstick comedy is not going to be the same as an intellectual comedy. So is my version of cool the same version of cool of you, or am I expecting you to accept my version of cool without even assessing it for my goddamn self? Because I could easily be like, no disrespect, but my version of cool is different than yours. So the best that we can be right now is friends. Maybe years down the line, we could try it after we have more rapport built with each other, get to know each other more. But for right now, this is your level of cool. This is my level of cool. So the best that we can be right now is two people who are different, but accept each other to at least share some sort of space together. Mm-hmm. But that takes, again, self-evaluation. Do you have enough discernment and ability to do that? I don't think a lot of people do. They just come in and say, I'm cool, so accept me as cool.
Yeah, no, I saw it was some fucking post that was going around, and it was one of those people I fucking hate. I want to say I've seen this dude. I don't know his name, but he looked familiar, like one of those like alpha male white dudes or whatever. But he said a good quote about like self-awareness not being. It's not as fucking, rampant as people like post about it. Like, gotta be self-aware. I'm so self-aware. We're self-aware. I'm self-aware. Be self-aware. Self-awareness is when self-aware. And it was like, it's true. Like everything you're saying is true. But like, the active, it's an active practice and something that you got to get like really, really, I don't even want to say really good at. It's just something that you like do often. Cause I think I'm cool at it. Right. I feel like I'm, like most of us in this field, I feel like there's always a level of like, everybody keep telling me that there's a level of like, not doubt, but like talking down, like, I'm cool enough. No, you're kind of good at that shit. So, however you feel I am about it, cool. But how much of an active practice it is. And I was, again, part of that fucking archive shit. There was something posted, and I've seen this woman before, but she was a therapist, and she was discussing how, with a client, how long it took her, but how detailed she had to get to like teach somebody that, because they just really didn't know. She was trying to like teach him mindfulness and how to be aware, and he was like, what do you want me to do? And she was like, sit there and like kind of listen to your body. He's like, what the fuck are you talking about? And so like how much of a practice that is. And so when she said it, I'm like, oh, I do that. But then when I thought back to like what sparked me on it and how long that kind of took me, I'm like, oh yeah, you motherfuckers can't know what you're doing. Not everybody. Some of y'all cool, fish you cool, ain't nobody talking about y'all. But the amount of shit that you see now, because like good and bad, like mental health is like way more popular than it's been. But because of that, everybody thinks that they're fucking, you know, knocking it out the park. Everybody knows what they're talking about. Everybody's practicing. Not really.
Everybody knows everybody else's opinion.
Yeah.
Which means you don't really know shit. Even if your opinion is wrong, at least you can formulate your own to where you can continue the conversation. But if you're just adopting what everybody else says, you're not really contributing. That's just my personal opinion.
Yeah.
It's like, you don't have to be perfect. You are more than welcome to have your perspective. But, like, let it be your perspective. Don't try and hit me with some King James Version Bible verse.
Oh, my God.
And you don't even know who King James is. Like they're, come on now. Miss me with certain stuff. Think for yourself. I can accept if I think that you're wrong and you think that I'm wrong and we don't have the same type of perspective. If that perspective is authentically you, I can still accept you as a person and move forward in that conversation.
That makes me thinking, like, what was this shit? That makes me think of my usual gripe, but I don't fucking know, like, love languages or how people perceive love or whatever the fuck. And I'm always just going to stand on it that I just don't feel like, because I realize, like, I'm not, like, anti the romance or the gestures. I'm just, like, I don't know, man. I got to find some more words, but, like, anti-performative is just my shit. That's because I saw some shit this week, and it was a tweet, and Chardon told me about it, and then it popped up, because I guess now it's gone super viral, because she said she saw it on Twitter, and then it popped up on Instagram, and it was like this girl, and she was like, this woman, and she was, the tweet was like something like, I am learning to be cool with my boyfriend, learning to be cool with, like, I'm cool with my boyfriend is not a romantic, mostly, quotations. And she was like, he's not like a roses and flowers guy, but he does, like, refill her supplements without her even noticing. Like, he'll see that it's low, go refill, do all that or whatever. And, like, I realized, I was like, okay, man, there goes a cool little trigger. Like, not trigger enough. I feel like y'all use trigger too much. Like, y'all go fucking turn into the Hulk.
Activation.
But, yeah, because it's like, this is stupid. I was fucking with her. I was like, this is positive. Like, you know, she acknowledged and it's great. But in my mind, I'm like, the premise is fucking stupid. Because I'm like, unless, you know, personalized, unless she's like a real fucking, you know, okay, you like flowers or whatever. Cool, that's your shit. Some of you motherfuckers don't have a single pot in that house. Like, there's nothing remotely like there's a plant there, plant here. If I get this motherfucking plant or something that fucking, like, you know, needs water and care, cool, like, great, that's a good investment. I just think that's just like, oh, it's romantic because you've seen it in movies and shit, as opposed to like, oh, this motherfucker like cared enough to, I don't know, I feel like y'all don't like that shit's not thought about or explored enough. And one, back to niggas, I feel like niggas don't explain that shit. Like, a nigga will just fall into getting flowers and not go, hey man, like, do you fully like like, you know, if you're really into it, cool, romantic gestures are cool, I'm not knocking them, but like, are we really understanding what the fuck love is? Like, cause these supplements cost. This is very still, like, this is taking time. I gotta go find these motherfuckers. Like, that's a real genuine act of love.
Do you, even if we stick with the flowers, do you know what your favorite kind of flower is, or you just gonna say roses? There's hundreds of thousands of different plant species on this planet. You mean to tell me that all you like is roses? And if so, what color are you talking about? Just the red ones? They got white ones. They got black ones. They can synthetic color. They can make it any color you want. What is it that you actually like? Because you're expecting me to provide you with something. And again, you don't know the what, you don't know the why, so you can't really move towards implementation.
Yeah, you don't fuck with that shit. And now I'm stuck playing this fucking performative game in a space, because, you know, I feel like niggas have to just explain it, not to just kick it. But this is a space where I'm supposed to be my freest, most authentic self.
And I'm performing.
And I'm performing, and I'm watching you lie.
Right.
So I'm now seeing this is not even, I did all this fucking work. We didn't go into whatever the fucking restaurant y'all been kicking all this time, and you can't be in this motherfucker and be free. Well, shit, man, I could have stayed outside fucking. Like, you know, it was this much eat. Like, I could have cracked and went to my house. If I'm doing all the other stuff here, then you want to,
I'll say from personal experience, dealing with that leads you to have resentment because you get invalidated for actually showing what I would deem or what you're expressing as real love and care, right? I'm not getting whatever. I'm not getting attention because I'm not getting this variation of attention that I would prefer to have, not realizing like, hey, every time I see you, I fix your outfit. Like your chain is messed up. You got lint here. I take this out, make sure that you look presentable. Like I'm in tune and aware and present with you to where I do little subtle things that go overlooked because you're looking for one grandiose thing strictly based in your perspective, which is really coming from the insecure part of you that's comparing. You're comparing yourself to something else. So now I have to perform within your insecurity in order to gain validation and acceptance for my efforts of love, care, and support towards you, which that means it's not real love on my end either. So you don't want real love.
Self-abandonment, my boy. And, to put this on niggas, that would mean that you're operating from, like, a space of, I know niggas don't like insecurity. That don't mean you fucking sitting there like, I'm terrible, but there's something about you that doesn't.
Your fucking lizard brain is on fire.
Yeah, like, because I'm like, just if I'm just using, one of our base templates of people in your family, y'all always, like, my father was my daddy was. So anyways, my granny is somebody who, like, she likes elephants. So, like, if you were fucking, talking to her back in, like,
She a Delta? 1913?
Nope.
Oh.
But if y'all was to come to kick it with my granny, like, y'all would be fans. She's got a lot of, like, tons. So many, like, she's a big fan of, like, elephants, trunk ump. It's supposed to be, like, good luck, I guess, or whatever.
Good luck, wisdom, things of that nature.
Really. Man, and I mean, like, like little ones. So if you were to, I'm sure my grandfather was probably like, oh, this motherfucker fucking with these elephants. Like, not even just on some romance shit. He might have just been around, oh, cool, I got this because you like elephants. If I'm thinking flowers, my sister specifically is a sunflower nigga. Herself just walks out like, motherfuckers cost her $15 at Albertsons. Okay, cool, nigga. Are you? Well, y'all niggas like keep failing and I keep laughing. But, whoever young squire out there, like, that would be something thoughtful. This person likes this shit. If you've never, shut up. Like, tell me something that you really are fucking into and have like a reason. I just feel like y'all are on bullshit. And missing out on cool fucking opportunities or whatever.
More for me.
Yeah.
Or job security for me. One of the two. But either way, thank you.
Well, both. And then one last one so I can punch you niggas. I don't have no funny stories today because the internet has just been getting on my fucking nerves. Literally today, I thought, like, this would probably be where this story was wrapped up. But today I saw y'all on the internet. I want to say I saw this story on Baller Alert. And I thought it was like, cool, quick, one and done story, right? 40-year-old dude is in a house in the bed with an 18-year-old girl. Parents come home. I think it's 38-year-old mom, 35-year-old boyfriend or dad or whatever. Boyfriend pops this nigga, pop how? Because what are you doing? And, mom kind of ODs, puts flammable liquid on him, sets him on fire. She went a bit over the top. Not going to hold you, not going to lie. He's still alive, apparently. They're arrested. But it was not that situation. Like, the situation I didn't like is you niggas in the comments, right? And I'm going to go back to my usual shit of not looking at comments because y'all are fucking feral.
Salt of the earth.
Yeah, y'all are feral idiots. Like, it's the same bag of niggas who was like having like defense for Cam Newton, for instance. Like, we all saw the viral clip, Cam, I got 8 kids, I want 9. She said you're making broken home. She was absolutely 100% right. There's no argument there. Fuck yourself. And niggas was like, what about the women? She did not acknowledge that those women are making choices. They're not absolved. They're equal goofs. They're participating in the broken horse shit. So, pause on that. To go back to the fucking goddamn comments, niggas was in there, and like, to me, like, this is the mindset of, like, I feel like, God, I'll never be out of work. I just got to pick the right fucking population. But you in the comments to get your phone or computer, because I feel like some of y'all are weird computer niggas that are typing on Instagram. It's crazy. And are going, she's 18, that's the law of the land. As if the law of the land hasn't been, like, putting us in the ground at just, like, breakneck speeds It's never ever hit the brakes on how much the law of the land has put us behind bars. Men, women, both just dead at astronomical levels. And your brain, your mindset out on a public forum that people can see said it would be great to argue why it's okay for a 40-year-old man to be laid up with an 18-year-old. Boy, go to hell. I don't know how many times I got to come in here and say that your brain don't really get to getting all it needs till 26. You were fresh out of high school. That shit is weird. Like, and I feel like y'all should be put on a list. Like, maybe not what's that shit? Minority Report? It's a fucked up concept, but it ain't terrible. It's, let's iron out some kinks with that shit. Cause you grown ass niggas on the internet trying to justify a 40-year-old fucking with an 18-year-old. And I'm gonna die on this hill. Like, I think everybody should have to work at like shelters or group homes for like a year. And you see the motherfuckers come on Fig and then you tell me that shit cool. I'm, y'all follow me. I post crazy shit, but like I ain't never fucking rocking with that. Be of age and just, fucking weirdos.
I mean, that's the social construct that we agreed to.
Yeah, you niggas
of age is something completely different. When technically you can be of age and considered an adult, but developmentally you're not an adult for another 10 years.
Yeah, you niggas did jail time and then hell time directly after.
Yeah. But I mean, that goes to what we said earlier. You attract bits and pieces of yourself in every relationship. So for him, you resonate with an 18-year-old. Like there's a part of you that really deeply connects with the 18-year-old.
And y'all gonna stop using all them bullshit phrases like, it's manipulation. You with X amount of years of experience, this young individual who's a goof enough to be like, oh, he's got money. Well, he should, because he should be fucking gainfully employed. And you have trouble, purchasing a Twix because you just graduated high school. There's not. I don't know, y'all. There's not really anywhere that you're ever gonna explain that to me and make it make sense. And I think I'm a well-rounded, very, locked in individual in my brain. Couldn't be me. I don't give a fuck from now to the end of now. 35, 45, 65, 75, crash out king on that particular thing. And I think, and it's vice versa. If I come to my house and, Gertrude in there with any son of mine, ladders, tables, and chairs, man. Being that motherfucker like D-Ray. Oh, bitch. Like, we going off the fucking top of the roof. For sure.
We all about to sit in here and have a nice long conversation together.
Yeah.
See how you like it. What Duval saying his post a few weeks ago, since I haven't been on social media for a week and a half.
Good.
It's like, let the kids be the kids.
Yeah.
No,
yeah.
Don't bring that shit over here. Don't bring that over there around them. Let the kids be the kids.
I want the kids to be the kids. It's you adult niggas.
Yeah, but we have to be able to not use semantics. I will be 38 next month. There's nothing in me that wants to seriously be with somebody 30 years younger than me.
That's crazy. You think like I'm never. This is some weird conversations, man. Between that and then niggas on the fucking internet who are cool. It's a cool gig, but niggas is assistant managers at the fucking Walmart talking about if he could provide, 8 kids, Cam is living. Shut up, bro. Shut the fuck up, man. Like I don't like niggas up here arguing for like 8 kids across 3 households. Like, shut the fuck up, bro.
Unless them 3 households are all on the same plot of land.
You niggas is
the only reason I can condone it to a degree is because from a poly perspective, that is a possibility. And even then, it takes a lot of work, a lot of collaboration, a lot of responsibility, a lot of communication.
You niggas are not poly. You niggas is fucking around.
You want to be irresponsible. You want to justify irresponsibility. Because a lot of y'all will say that shit's okay, and you're not even picking good suitors to have children with. Again, job security for us. Thank you. But at the same time, like, you're acting impulsively. you're choosing people that are acting impulsively, and you're creating impulsive ass children. So you're creating generational trauma because you want to fuck around instead of being responsible. If you are going to have children with somebody, at least do it in a responsible way, not the natural way of just because I busted a nut.
Shit, I could even push back on a little, because at that level of numbers, 8 and fucking 12, bro. Like, even if I'm trying to put them all under the same household, like at the rate these niggas have them, there's just like, even I feel like I want to say there was something out there where Nick like mentioned that, like, there's no way I'm getting to 4 recitals, fucking 3 basketball games, 2 soccer games, like. So, like she said, like she put on a fucking clinic, because nigga, like these motherfuckers could have the top tier everything, and I'm gonna tell you right now, like having worked with some people like in good situations, bad situations, the effects of you not being there as much as, and I said, fuck, I thought I was finna be okay. I'm gonna wrap this shit up though, but like that's another thing with you motherfuckers, to say niggas in the comments arguing about providing for a motherfucker financially, only to get on the internet and cry about how you can't see your kid, but if you throwing money, nigga, I thought that was it. Like, what the fuck?
You don't have a safe space to express in your relationship, but you think provision is strictly financial.
And don't you start clapping too hard, man, because I'll be seeing y'all say the same shit.
Y'all both picked each other from the same trick bag.
You up there talking about, like thumb up in fucking Tyrese's ex-wife, like that shit's okay, and like, be trying to keep niggas away from their fucking kids, and trying to make new provisions on providing changes with the wind of what you need. Y'all make me sick sometimes. This is from love, but like, love yourself enough to whoop your own ass. That was what your granny used to do. Your granny loved you to death. Like, shout out to, word to the Mexican homies, like, they love you enough to hit you with that motherfucking chancla. Okay? Shut the fuck up. Until next week. Keep talking this week so I can have something to talk about next week.
Yeah, when he asks y'all for questions, y'all give it to him.
Oh, yeah, I didn't ask y'all shit. But yeah, I'm going to ask y'all shit.
We didn't ask this week. Shit was going on. But just throwing that out there, when he throws something up for questions, need more than just like the random, normal 3-4 people asking questions. Not that we invalidate the people that are asking. We appreciate you.
Y'all keep it up too, shit.
A lot of y'all got more questions that you want to ask. You just don't. But I did get some, even though I was off social media when I did check it today. I did see a couple people that were like, "Oh, I need the links to all these articles that you put in the post." I was like, somebody actually was looking for the article.
Oh, I mean, shit, type that. I mean, I don't even
work. Google them.
So. Yeah, I use Google to make it easy in the event that anybody would ever. But I'll start tagging links, I guess. But like, yeah, I keep it very like, I don't even go to Google Scholar, man. I be keeping that shit right where you can find it on the fucking front Google page.
Google the title of the article that is put in the picture. You can find it.
Shit, man, I'm gonna have to go back to being chaotic, man, because I realize shit, half the ones now, I only post 2 things about tits. It'd be a whole bunch of shit. Hey, you know who called me on that? Fucking Felix. Like, he's like, I'm getting the themes now. I was like, oh shit, I gotta fuck it up now. Motherfuckers catching on.
Yeah, you gotta spice it up for him.
Yeah, I gotta put some more.
Likes a little excitement.
Yeah, I gotta put some crazy shit. I'm gonna drop it. I gotta drop like 2 dumps now. One is just pure nothing, and then a secret one. See if y'all paying attention. Fucking testing.
See which one hits.
How's the podcast? Go look. All right, I'm not gonna get on it. All right, thank y'all for listening. I love y'all, but y'all piss me off.
Right. Enjoy y'all week, man. We'll see y'all next episode.
I got feelings that I haven't jailed with. I got a lot of girls that want to get up and meet and have a conversation with me after they milk quick.
Oh, shit.
To my baby, I'm too solid.